It's always fun to talk to you. I met you a couple years ago, and immediately I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta befriend this guy because there's just something about you that is just very approachable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right?
I got that this weekend actually from a guy.
So I appreciate you being here. You are a teacher, you are a businessman, you are a coach.
Yeah.
But I think the most beautiful quality you have is you're just a great person, man, to be around.
Thank you.
How long have you been teaching? Let's start with that.
So this year makes 19 years.
Ooh, buddy,
Yeah. So I'm retiring next year, so I won't quite make it to a full 20, but it's like had 2 full careers, you know?
Man, that's insane. Yeah. Have you always been an English teacher?
Yeah. That when I was changing careers, I actually started to study for the math test.
Wow.
Just because that's where the jobs were. And my plan was to get into English. I always wanted to get into English. But in the middle of all these transitions, I got a call from Timmy Cusack, one of the guidance counselors, was a ex-cousin-in-law. And he's like, hey, Chris, I'm actually on vacation in Arizona, where we've got the Red Rocks behind us, with beautiful scenery. My son's like, because when I'm in industry, we really never had a vacation without getting interrupted. Yeah. This was our one vacation because it was like I was ending my career there.
So you were working where before?
It was called Converse Technologies, Boston Technology, where I started. They got bought up by an Israeli firm.
So it was a regular full year round.
Oh yeah. A lot of travel, constantly getting interrupted on vacation. But he calls me up and he's like, hey, I hear you want to get into teaching. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he said, well, there's this long-term English position sub. I'm like, long-term sub, English? Yeah, that's what I want.
I'll take it.
And it just kind of took off from there.
You just stuck to it. Wow.
The universe delivers.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Like, it's always interesting how you end up in places just by a conversation with somebody, right? Do you think that you kind of impose that on yourself, or like it's just destiny, or what they call destiny?
It's funny. I talk to the kids all the time, and I'm like, the best way to get to where you want to be is to put yourself in that position. For example, when I was teaching seniors, the kids going to college, when they started working on the research paper, like, to be honest with you, the best thing that you can do if you want to go to college is to go to the Merrimack Library. It's a close college. It's right up the street. Put yourself in that position. Put yourself in the environment, and eventually become part of that environment, right? And some of the kids took me up on it, and it just becomes, all of a sudden you feel natural there. You're not worried about it anymore. Like, I can do this. And so for me, when I was making the transition from industry to teaching, I immediately took the MTEL stuff and went to Merrimack College, even though I was 45 at the time.
Wait, MTEL is
Mass Teacher
how
Education
you get your
license.
teacher's license, right? So you did the test first, and then you started jumping into the college career for teaching. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Is it mandatory to do the test? Is there a way to get into teaching without the license?
I mean, at the time, I don't know if the program still exists, but there were a lot of programs to help career changers go through the process. So there was sort of a fast track that I was on.
I see.
It was a lot of work, but it was kind of a fast track. And then eventually you end up with your master's degree.
Yeah, because I always found that interesting, right? Like, I understand the whole license theory behind it. I understand you having to prove to somebody who is trying to hire you. Yeah. You got to prove that you know your stuff. But what about the cases of somebody who's been working at the school for a long time? Right. They've been doing their work without having the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've been doing all the counseling there is out there. You could get the job done, but they don't hire you because you don't have the license.
Yeah, it's tough because schools actually have to have so many. They're only given a window where they can have people on staff that aren't licensed, and then the DESE kind of comes down on them. So there's really not a lot of wiggle room there.
Man, they should make like an exception. Like, no, buddy, you just proven yourself. Yeah, keep the job.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, to be honest with you, if you think about it, so this was my first year in teaching. I decided to basically get into teaching, let's say January, whatever, February. Made a transition plan with my boss so that I started studying for the MTEL math, right? I ended up failing it by 7 points.
7 points.
So at the time, they used to give the numbers.
Yeah.
I studied hard, but the one thing I didn't study was three-dimensional geometry, right?
That's
because
complicated.
I mean, geometry sucks anyways, right? Three-dimensional geometry, forget it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how many questions can there be in 3D geometry? That literally I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to skip this. I'm like, okay, I got this. I think I got this. I'm feeling pretty good. And then I turn to the essay question, and it's this big ass three-dimensional pencil. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm just shaking my head. I went to the bathroom, put cold water on my face. I'm like, okay, you can like sling it with the best when it comes to writing. You got this. I went back down, looked at it. I got nothing.
Man, that's good. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know.
I sat there for an hour and I just finally said, yeah, I give up.
Yeah, you can only BS so much, right? Like,
but again, right, the universe delivers. I never really wanted math, right? So I decide I'm just going to take the summer off, study, pass the MTELs, right? And that's when I get the call. So I'm in my second last week of working at my other job. And that's when I get it's vacation. I have 1 more week when I go back and then I'm done.
Yeah.
And I get the call from Timmy. 2 weeks later, I'm at the school as a long-term sub-English teacher, right? And the lead teacher at the time was retiring. And so I ended up with her schedule, which was in my very first year teaching, freshman English, sophomore honors English, junior journalism, and senior journalism. They're like, oh my God, Chris, that's 5 preps. I look at them and go, what's a prep?
Yeah, you have no idea what that means.
Like, that's 5 different curriculum. I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I had no idea it wasn't normal, right? Yeah. But they threw me into the deep end of the pool, right? Yeah. The curriculum didn't even exist for junior and senior journalism.
Wow.
I was looking stuff up on the internet, creating stuff week by week, and it just threw me into the deep end of the pool and learned to swim.
Swim, buddy. Swim. But sometimes the best things happen that way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I totally agree.
Yeah. How do you fall into coaching?
So I really started coaching my son. I just had one son on my first marriage, and he was into baseball. My whole family was into baseball. Yeah. So I started coaching him in the Pee-wees, and I just stayed with it. Kind of got good at it. To be honest, there were a lot of good coaches in the area.
Did you play baseball though?
No, I was a track kid.
Wait a minute. I know you ran track.
Yeah.
But
no, I never played high school baseball.
Wow.
I wasn't good at high school baseball.
That's insane.
You want to know the truth.
That's crazy.
I tell people I'm like Bill Belichick. I couldn't play the game, but I can coach the game.
Yeah. That happens very often. Yeah. I see soccer players all the time. Like there were superstars when they were players. Then they turn into coaches and they don't cut it as coaches.
Right.
And then the same happens the other way around. Right. Like a lot of top coaches, they weren't necessarily good players.
I think there's a detail-oriented side of me that kind of helps with coaching, because I would go into all these indoor facilities and I'd watch these coaches with their kids, and I'm like, okay, that's good. We like that, right? That's a great drill. And I just pick this stuff up, right? Yeah. And eventually became pretty good at, a pitching coach. So it kind of worked out. It's actually how I got into teaching. When I was coaching, I want to say it was a 13-year-old pony team. And people always mention, you should really get into, you're really good with kids, you should get into teaching. And I had this 13-year-old team, a pony league team, and great kids, but they're 13, right? These girls walked by and they were very inappropriate with them. So I whistled them down, and I told the assistant coach, I said, we need to get them here a half hour early tomorrow for practice. And so we kind of pulled them off the field, and we had this discussion about, like, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a teenager? How do you grow up to be, respectful to women, men seen as, especially in those days, protectors of women, and you need to be responsible, respectful. And the kids were really listening. Like, they were just good kids. They were teenagers, right? Exactly. They're just learning. And this friend of mine, Mike Habib, turns to me and he goes, you need to get into teaching. Yeah. And it just stuck with me. And it was many years later that I did, but it was that thing in the back of my head
it's impossible not to notice how much you care, because I seen you coach, I seen you teach, and like you genuinely care for the kids that you have in front of you. And to me, that's got to be like, how do you say this? A prerequisite? Like you have to have that in you in order to be in a position where you're, mentoring the youth. You have to. There's no other way to do it, especially, in our community, right? Not every kid has access to a father figure.
Right.
And you bring that to the table in all the sense of the word, meaning you have to be caring, but you also have to teach and show good manners, show proper behavior, because just caring isn't enough.
Right.
Like, I could care for you and still raise you wrong.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. It's one of the first teams I had. They were just young kids in high school at Greater Lawrence. Bunch of sophomores, very good. There were very few upperclassmen, and they got into this huge fight with this other team, and they couldn't get it through their head. And finally, the next day, it was a big sort of blow up at the end of the game, and they weren't listening. They were upset, and I sat them down. I'm like, you need to understand, right? First of all, let's put it on the table. Yeah. I'm a white guy, right? So I get how you might look at me, but I want you to understand why I'm here, right? I'm here because I want you to recognize that you can get beyond whatever label people put on you, right? Yeah. But you can't fall into the trap. They're gonna bait you, right? There you go. See, there they are, right? And you just need to understand that you got to rise above that, right? And when you rise above that and you turn at them and you just brush it off, now all of a sudden they look worse because you're the one that's taking the high road. But when they bait you down to come to the low road, they're going to just say, all they're going to say is, look, see, I told you.
I told you so. Yeah.
And you just can't do that because people throughout your life are going to do that. They don't do it to me. I'm white. I get that. Yeah. But this is what's going to happen in homes, in jobs, in careers. And sometimes you're going to have to take that high road to prove them that you're the better man. Yeah. And when you do that, you win, right? You can't let them win by bringing you down.
It is definitely the hardest thing to do, though. It's like, it's so easy to just get angry and blow up.
Yeah.
So easy. What do you think you get that from? Like, can you recognize when in life you learn it's a better outcome if I just keep calm, don't engage? Like, are you able to?
I had a huge anger management issue when I was a kid, my friend. I was off the charts, right? I was bad. My mother would just sit on me until the temper would just pass. And I don't know, I think it was eventually just over time of enough of that I just learned to breathe, just breathe, let it go and then come back later, right? But just to let it go, take the high road. And then figure out how you want to respond the next day, the next time, in that situation. And it's a learned behavior because for me, it didn't come naturally.
No, and that's why I'm mentioning it, because it took me a couple beatings before I realized that, wait a minute, reacting this way just gets me into more BS. Yeah. Like, this is not helping me. I end up worse. They end up worse. Yeah. Though it's just escalating. Yeah. And it after how many hits, right? Wait a minute. Let me try something different here. But
plus I was the firstborn. So, parents practice on the firstborn.
That is so true, man. That is so true.
And, part of it was, again, just sort of growing up. And, my parents always taught me responsibility. I grew up in Lawrence for the first few years. My grandparents were there, so I was always in Lawrence, right? And back when it was the French side, the Italian side, the Irish side.
Very divided. Yeah, that's true. So, those were. Do you think those rougher times back then, or did it get a little rougher later on?
I think everybody has a glorified view of the past.
Right. Yes.
The reality is that you just, from an immigration standpoint, it's whoever was the last in that this country has been the hardest on. It's just the way it's been, right?
That's
the Irish, all of them went through it. Yeah. It's just whoever's last in is the one that's looked at as, well, you're the immigrant. Well, dude, you were just an immigrant, 10 years ago, right? Like your parents came in off the boat, but we forget that, it's just, but this is sort of the American history, to be honest with you.
And it's inevitable to be that way too, man. Like the rough environment that, the first European settlers, right? They didn't have it easy either. Yeah. So when you have, well, in my opinion, when you have such a rough landing, to put it that way, and then you figure out a system that actually works, then you're like, wait a minute, it was so hard to get to this point.
Exactly.
I'm not going to let anybody come in and ruin it.
Right.
And then you lose perspective.
Right. Like, because you think about it, right? You came in, you had to fight for something, and then you got it. And now there's another person coming in to fight for something, and it's like, okay, I'm going to protect this from you, but well, they were protecting it from you too, right? It's just, and we forget, because it's a hard road, especially when you're coming in to the country.
Yeah, and it's the whole La La Land idea of, no, I know what you've been through. Let me help you out. It gets very difficult, man. It gets very difficult. But I have seen an improvement, though. I definitely seen an improvement. It might have. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have a lot to do with the fact that I came in here to Lawrence, and there were already a large Latino population. Right. So, but when I came in as a teenager, even as a Latino, the whole Latino community were bashing on me because my English was non-existent. Right. My Spanish was different from their Spanish. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't belong anywhere. Like, I don't belong with my Latinos. I don't belong with the gringos. I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? I'm like the first Honduran here. So it got very tricky. Yeah. But then, I left the country, came back 8-9 years later. Right. And you do see the difference. Yeah. Like there's more acceptance of it. Yes. And there's a lot less racism. It's not as obvious as when I was a teenager. Well,
I'll tell you, I think the one thing that the younger generation has right is that they're much more open and accepting of each other. I mean, I just, I look at my generation, not so much, but I look at their generation, every adult is going to complain about a teenager. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's a rite of passage, right? Yeah. So, but when you look at it with honest eyes, they are accepting of each other. Yeah. Who are the kids that get the loudest applause at graduations? It's the kids on the IEPs that have heavy autism issues, right? It's all of them.
The ones who normally always get
shunned aside.
To the side completely. I mean, a couple of years back.
Yes.
And now we're like, nah, man, you belong with us also.
Exactly.
And you're right. That is one of the most beautiful things that I've seen. Bullying, all that stuff, it's always going to exist. Yeah. You're always going to have a couple, here and there who, unfortunately, they had it rough too, and they got to project that to somebody. But it's gotten so much better.
Oh, yeah.
To the extremes. But I'll take the extremes on that side rather than the ones on the other side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'll take it, man. What was different from, if you compare the job you had before you got into teaching? Like, was that transition easy?
I think so. I think so because I was coaching, right? So I think it would have been harder if I wasn't already working with kids in a way. Yeah. I think it made it easy because I've kind of been, it's funny, no matter where I've ended up for some way, and I don't even understand how, like a manager or in charge of, right? Like, I
could see why easy. You're a smart guy.
but even like a president fraternity, I was a commuter, and they're like, we want you to be president. Like, why? I always have this reaction of like, why?
Why me?
But I think that comes from just the way that I was brought up. If you just focus on what you're doing, like everything else happens around you. Like when you're worried about the money you make, you're worried about, the position you want, then it doesn't come. It doesn't come quick enough or fast enough. But when you're just working, you got your nose to the grindstone and people see it, like you move, things happen around you. Right. So I think when I made that transition, it was just sort of like, okay, I can handle this, right? I've been thrown into a bunch of things throughout my career that I really honestly had no business doing. That just worked out,
But the mentality, right, of, if I put in the work, things get done. Yeah. Why is it so rare, man?
I think people doubt themselves. I mean, I tell the kids, at the beginning of the year, I have this speech that I do. It's called Success is a Decision. And I kind of talk to them about things throughout my life. You know, like one of the things I wanted to get into when I decided to get into teaching, I said, I want to teach in an inner city school because I was not a smart kid. Like I was a C student. But what I kind of started, I was the youngest in my class. So I was always a little bit behind. Eventually caught up. I eventually caught up in middle school. I eventually caught up in high school. I eventually caught up in college. But every transition, I was behind. But in the 8th grade, I won the effort award. And I tell the kids all the time, I was upset because I got an effort award, but I'm C's, right? Like I'm working all this hard for a C student, right? So for me, it was frustrating at the time.
Like, what do you mean? All my effort just gets me
exactly. I'm just barely passing.
Right.
So, but I tell them like that was the thing. When I look back, that's what's allowed me to be successful. You just put in the effort, right?
You just didn't have the maturity at the moment to fully understand what effort actually represented.
When I was at this company called Boston Technology, I had been there for a very short period of time, not that long at all, and they were having this problem. It was sort of a mid-sized company. They were having a problem with our largest contract ever. It was in Japan. I knew the guy that was out there running the project. They took his passport. He wasn't allowed to come back until someone else went out. But it wasn't going well.
What?
Yes. NTT, they took it. They basically said, give us your passport. You cannot go home until someone else comes to take your place, and then you can go back. Wow. They just didn't trust because things were going so poorly. So the VP at the time put us all in a room, all the managers, and I remember it vividly. He was a tough, short guy, Italian from Chicago, just really gruff, smart. He's like, someone needs to go. I need to know who it's going to be. Now, I'd only been there like 6 months. I don't know even what I don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
But nobody is volunteering to go. And I'm just sitting there listening to this going, okay, he's not going to buy that, right?
Yeah.
So when he came in and no one said anything, I just raised my hand. I said, I'll do it.
You've been there 6 months.
I've been there maybe 6 months, under a year, and I just raised my hand and said, I'll go. And he was pissed, like, because
nobody else was.
No, because I'm just new there.
Yeah.
But we pull it off.
Oh, man.
And he saw how hard we worked. So fast forward, I don't know, 7, 8 years. When we've gone through a couple of different tough projects, maybe it was 9 years at the time. Just fast forward. I'm the director of product quality. And we had just finished another project that was not going so well at Sprint as they were just starting to come online. And I had lost Thanksgiving. I was in Kansas City, and he said, we're going to pay for a trip to wherever you want to go. So I had a young kid, so we said Disney World. My partner, who was the Japan guy, we were alternating with Mike Runge. He's actually retired in Florida now. He decides to go overseas, like this beautiful island, right?
You went to Disney.
I got an 8-year-old, so what am I going to do?
That's right.
So
we be a father.
We're getting ready to go to Disney World, and he comes in on that Friday, and he puts his feet up on my desk, and that's never a good sign. And I'm just like, Bob, I got to go. Yeah. And he said, no, it's not this. It's not that kind of sit down. So he tells me, he said, when you come back, I'm going to make you assistant vice president of product development.
Oh, wow.
I'm retiring in 6 months after that, and then you'll be VP.
Jesus.
And I sat there and I looked at him and go, what makes you think I can do any of that? Like, I thought he was joking.
How am I qualified for this?
Because I've been in product quality. I've never been in development, right? He just said, no, just 6 months is all you're going to need to know to learn. And my jaw hit the floor. First I laughed. And then when he was serious, I just looked at him and said, what makes you think I can do that? And he said, when you took that risk to go over to Japan, he said, I kept my eye on you because that took guts.
He was paying attention to.
And part of it is having enough confidence in yourself when you know that I didn't know if I could do it. All I knew it was the right thing to do, right? Someone had to go. No one else is volunteering, I'll do it. And sometimes these opportunities, these doors open, and this is what I tell the kids all the time. You don't know if it's ever coming along again. Take it. Trust in yourself. I didn't know. Trust me. I'm in Japan going, what am I doing here, right? And we figure it out. If you just trust in what you can do, believe in yourself, you can get there.
How do you learn that though? Because I'm telling you, man, it's not the norm. Like people are not wired to take those risks. I don't know I'm pretty sure a couple years back, you know, like I'm talking about 100, couple hundreds, they were because of the environment. But today it seems to be like very difficult to do. I've seen people stuck in the same job, being miserable for years, but that's all they know. That's what brings food to the table. It might not be the most lavish lifestyle, but it's security, right?
Right.
How do you break that pattern? Like,
it's when we used to read this book called The Alchemist, which is a great book. It's sort of an allegory for life, how to live life, take risks, get out of your comfort zone. And you kind of have to come to the point where you have to recognize, am I happy doing this? And if not, what am I going to do? I was lucky at the time. My wife supported the transition. I literally made the decision to go into teaching and came home and said, hey, I'm going to teach.
I'm leaving this job. Because you weren't making good money, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. And I told her, I said, this is going to be a big change in lifestyle. And she said, it's okay. Okay. So she was very supportive of it. Because it was family time. I was done with the money. The money wasn't buying happiness, right? I wanted to see my kid in high school sports. I wanted to have more family time. And you can't do it when you're flying all over the world at the drop of a hat,
Yeah, man, it's that little weird spot that you get put on. Like, okay, do I go out there, make all the money that we need so we get a very good lifestyle, but miss out on everything that represents having a kid, or sacrifice that paycheck and spend more time? Like, that balance is a tricky one to pull off, man.
But you know what? Our kids have the backup plan. See, my backup plan was, I'm 45. I got 5 years to try. If it doesn't work out, I'm still young enough to get back in. I literally couldn't see myself at 65 doing that job. I mean, that was kind of part of it, right? It was like family time. And I looked out, I'm like, is this really what I'm going to be doing when I'm 60, 65? No.
Yeah, that's true.
And I always wanted to work with kids. So what I want to do? Well, I want to inspire the next generation to say, listen, I wasn't the smartest kid. I just put in hard effort. I put in the work and I trusted my instincts.
That's beautiful.
And you have an advantage here because you have the backup plan. Even if you don't like the shop that you're in, it gives you the money that you need so you can pursue your next
That's right. That's right. Just as a background information, right? We work at a technical school.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the way to go. You have to learn a trade, something that is going to be able to help you provide until you figure out what you really want to do. And if you don't, you still have this trade that you learned.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true, man. And then,
so what I used to tell the seniors is, you already have your plan B. So what's your plan A? What's your passion? What's your desire? If you were to do what you wanted to do, what would it be, right? Now use your plan B to build the money you need to get to your plan A. But don't give up on plan A, Now, whether they do it or not, but at least there's that path that they can see. They may be afraid to take it, but at least someone's got to tell them it's there.
Yeah, because that was I was going to say, like, having somebody mention it makes a big difference. Regardless what decisions you make. Having that person who, like, even if you down the road, hopefully it's not the case, right? But even if, man, I should have listened. But you had somebody. Because it to me, a worse position to be in is you growing old and coming to the realization of nobody ever told me. And that's got to be a tough pill to swallow. Like, what do you mean nobody told you? You never had any type of figure, because the relevance to our positions or to anybody who works with the youth is delivering those messages. Because again, we mentioned that before, you don't know if they're getting it from home. You don't know if they're getting it from anybody within their lives. So you got to make a little effort to saying it. And then hopefully, because I know it helped me out a lot. Oh my God, man, I had so many mentors in my life. And every time things got tough, I remember some of those words. And then they got me through. Miss Doobie, Jennifer Doobie. Man, she has no idea, man. She changed my life completely. Tim Cusack also changed my life completely because they were the swim coaches when I was in high school.
Okay, right.
And then out of nowhere, they made it such a pleasant experience for me to be in the swim team that out of nowhere, swimming paid for my entire college career.
Right.
And then swimming paved the way for me building a career as a coach, a very successful one back in Honduras. I was able to be successful in sports in a third world country.
Right.
Based on a good experience that two coaches gave to me.
Yeah, right.
So that it's... Yeah. They have no, like the impact you can have on somebody.
Yeah, you have no idea.
It's incredible. You have no idea. It could go both ways, right? You could have a very negative experience with somebody, and that could derail you also. Yeah. So, there's a joy, and but there's also a big responsibility that comes with it, right? Yeah. So, it's a fun position to be in. I try not to think too much about it because I'm like, oh man, am I really sending the right message to these kids? Yeah. And then for the most part, I'm like, I think I feel comfortable with what I'm trying to teach. Yeah. But every now and then
I've seen you coach. I mean, you definitely give them the right inspiration, and they look up to you. So that means a lot,
It's hard though. It's hard. Sometimes you have no energy. Sometimes you just want to.
But it's relationships, right? It's relationships, and that's what you have with your players, right? I mean, they look up to you, and they know that you're going to tell them with a dog died if they just are messing around, right? But that's what they need. It's that structure. It's coaching. Is the stick and the carrot, right? Yeah. Because but that's love, right? You care about these kids, right? And you want to make sure they get them on the right path. And so you kind of, that discipline, that structure provides them that safety zone that they need,
Yeah, man. It's so important. To me, it's a core value. Like, you have to join sports just because of that. You might be lucky enough that you had a right coach that can really set you up for a lot of things in life that come your way that they're not easy to handle. Like, not everybody, life doesn't give participation trophies. I always say it that way. So you need a coach that's going to help you understand that losing is not the end of the world. Yeah. You always achieve, try to aim for victories, but the process in between is just as important as winning. Yeah. And that's the tricky part of being a good mentor to coaching. Like the sport, to me, at the end of the day, it's a little irrelevant. The percentage of kids that make it professional, right? It's so small. But the percentage of kids that you can actually inspire and teach something to, it's very high. Right. Because there's a lot of kids jumping into sports, into after school activities in general. I always wanted to ask you, how are you as a parent? In the sense of, are you super strict? Were you a little more I was a teenager who, you told me, right? Yeah. Like, you were a little rebellious and easy to get angry. How did that impact you as a parent?
So, I guess I play off my significant other, right? So, my first wife with my son, she was a disciplinarian. So, I was kind of the soft cop to the hard cop.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I mean, we kind of played off each other. Yeah. We kind of watched when I was angry, she would come in behind, right? So we kind of just found the way together that we would sort of work through it. So it's really what the situation called for. Yeah. When she was hard and tough, I would follow up with the message, right? And when I was losing my mind, she would come in and say, well, you know why he's mad, right? So we've sort of played off each other that way.
And then that is so important, man. Yeah. Like, having the right partner to help you through those moments. Because, man, when Liam was first born, buddy, I had no idea.
You're practicing.
No idea. You're like, oh boy, what do I do with this now? Okay, buddy, where's those instructions? No manual,
there's nothing, right?
Figure it out on the go. Yeah. And then I'm always trying to balance this. No, I want you to have a voice. Right. I want you to be okay with talking to somebody in a higher position than yours, which the hierarchy of being a son and a father, right? because that could translate later on into, okay, how do you talk to a police officer?
Right,
You got to
right.
have certain boundaries.
Correct.
You can't overstep, but you also have to give yourself the spot that you deserve.
Right.
But that's a tricky game to play with kids, man, because, and it took me a while to figure out the right measurements for it, because sometimes I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But then the next time they talk to me, it's a little more aggressive, and I'm like, wait a minute, I guess it didn't matter. Who you talking to?
Yeah. And you got to put that back in the box.
Right. And it's tricky, man. And then with the first one, I think my mistake was I was trying too hard to keep him disciplined.
Yes. Yeah.
Way too hard.
Yeah.
And then my wife is like, wait a minute, like, he's allowed to say something too.
Right.
You know, but
to find his voice.
Then I go back into, wait a minute, I grew up in a house where like anything I said, no.
Yeah.
So they teach me that you don't say anything to adults. You don't say anything to authority in general.
Right.
And then I'm trying to break this little cycle of like, no, wait a minute, I should be able to say, wait a minute, you know, this isn't completely right. Like,
so now how are you with your second?
A lot more loose.
Because you practiced.
Yeah, man. And then the first one always has the losing draw, right?
Exactly.
He's gonna fall into a teenager, and then he's gonna be my first time dealing with a teenager. Yep. So the first one always has a rough, man.
Oh yeah, the rules for him, Liam, will be much different, right? They'll be much stricter, right?
Yeah. And
although Christine now argues that because they're my stepdaughters, right? So they're my daughters, right?
Yes.
But they're stepdaughters, so it's like they didn't really grow up with me. So I'm trying to build a relationship with them, and she's like, "You need to be their dad." I'm like, "I'm trying to be their dad, but I'm trying to have a relationship before I can figure out how to be their dad, right?" So she's, but the girls are great. You know, they're it's very different than boys.
That's what they tell me, man. Right now I've been lucky. I got 2 boys.
Yeah.
And I'm learning, but I kind of figured out a working method.
Yeah.
Okay, this is working. It's not full chaos yet.
Yeah.
But then I see my older brother. He got 3 girls.
Right.
It's a completely different household.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, how him and I were raised in the same household, and our households are completely different.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you got 3 girls. I got 2 boys.
Did you have any brothers? Do you have any sisters? Or?
No.
Okay, so
no, just boys, man.
Yeah.
So I don't mind roughing around, but he's very careful with theirs.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, well, that's a different type of gameplay. Liam was like 4 years old, and then he has a cousin, 4-year-old cousin too, girl, a boy. They were playing one day, and out of nowhere, Liam was just practicing his chokeholds. I'm like, Liam, you only do that with me. And then you see little poor Ariana like,
she doesn't know what's going on here.
So, because we play differently, right? And then boys play a lot different than the girls. There's some exceptions. So some girls are tough, man.
Yeah.
But Ariana, no, she's not, man. She's like, you know, a little princess. And then I know I got this little barbarian over here trying to choke her out. I'm like, oh my God, I created a monster. So then I evolve as a parent.
Right.
Okay, Liam, wait a minute. That's okay if you do it to me.
Right.
You know, we play, you can, you know, we go at it. I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
She could though.
It's a different situation.
It's a different situation, man. So it gets tricky, but it's so much fun, man. How were you as a kid?
I was probably a difficult kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of anger issues. I mean, I was responsible in terms of like homework and stuff. I put in a lot of effort, but I was devious. We can't really talk about my my high school years.
I mean, high school. It was just a different era.
In the 70s, you know, it was just very different.
Yeah. A lot of things have changed. My generation, my teenage years, it was smoking weed was not a thing.
Yeah.
That was like, they looked at you a little weird if you did that.
Yeah.
But alcohol, that was the go-to thing. So teenagers, you know, when I was a teenager, it was all about how can I sneak
Right.
Let me get a sip of this. Let me go. And alcohol was a big thing, which was horrible. I'm like, man, we chose the wrong thing. Because that one to me is like, you just, when you drink alcohol, man, you lose all fear. Like, you don't care about anything. I could do it all.
Yeah.
I could eat bullets right now. And that's not, that is the wrong, I'm like, man, we chose the wrong one.
Yeah.
But, you know, a couple of years, my previous generation, I don't know what they were doing, honestly. My mom doesn't really talk to me about.
I mean, it was both really when I was growing up. There were, weed and.
Because were you? I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
How old ago was the probation? Was it when alcohol was illegal?
Oh, that was a while ago,
right? That was
well before me. Yeah,
before that.
Yeah, but I mean, was it 21? Was it always 21? Was it 18? I mean, I know when 18 they went up to 21. I can't remember exactly. All I remember was there was a lot of parties at Merrimack College.
Yeah, I could see that, man. I think our generation's party a lot more than today's generation.
I'll be honest with you. My kid, he's 33 now, 32 now. He did, that his generation was straight-laced compared to my generation.
Wow.
They're definitely different. Yeah. And I think just watching my girls, especially, I mean, that's another level back in addition. So, but part of that is you think about it, people don't go to house parties anymore.
Right.
Like, it just everyone's kind of in their own space, which and I'm not sure it's healthier, but they're in their own space.
What's the balance?
With their phones and or when they're together, they're just on their phones. It's very different. I actually had a conversation with my kids today about that. It's just how much time they're losing to it.
Yeah, man. It's inevitable though. Yeah. How can you not?
Yeah.
Like technology advances so fast that I wasn't a teenager too long ago. If you really do the math, 15 years ago is not a long time.
Right.
Like on the big scale, 15 years ago is that is nothing.
Well, for me it was a lot older. For me it was much further ago.
Yeah. No, but what I'm trying to say
I'm going to my 50th 8th grade reunion soon. So
man, that's wow. But 15 years ago, smartphones were not as popular. Like not everybody had a phone.
No.
Like when I was in high school, not everybody had a phone.
Right.
Especially not one with a good camera.
Right. Yeah.
So we got away with a lot of things with, today's got to be scary to be a teenager. Yeah. Like there's cameras everywhere. Everybody's doing a freaking Facebook Live.
Yeah.
There's a live somewhere on a phone. And then out of nowhere, you're there at that party and you're like, isn't he supposed to be sleeping right now? Like, so it's got to be very hard to be a teenager today, man. Like,
because everything's visible.
Yes.
And it lasts forever, right? That's the thing.
That's the thing. Like back then, if something dumb happened in a classroom and you got embarrassed, it didn't leave the classroom. Right. It's like whoever was in that classroom got to see it. They got a good laugh out of it. They'll probably bother you for a couple, but then it disappeared.
Yeah.
Today you go viral and then your face is everywhere on a meme.
Apparently Grandpa Cyr is already taken off.
That was very good, man. That was right on. Like that's a fun challenge. I like the fact that they're doing that. Like slang is always, like we say, right? Generations are gonna eventually these teenagers laughing at us right now for not knowing what
any of it is.
CUH is. What do you mean call? They're going to have their fair share later on. But I like the fact that you are willing to participate in all these teenage, little games. They're fun, man. And it's a good way to make connections with them.
I learned really early on. When I was a long-term sub, so it was like the first 6 months I was there was a long-term sub. And then they eventually hired me. But I went to basketball games. Actually, it was fall, so I'd go to football games. I'd go to the volleyball games. I'd show up, right? Yeah. And so someone had stolen one of the old iPods I had. I'm like, I left it out, whatever, my phone. Yeah. The kids found out. Like, no, mister, you're good. And all I've done, right, is show up to a couple of games. No, mister, you're good to us. They got it back.
Wow, that's incredible.
It really matters that you show up for them.
Yeah,
because when you show up for them, then they know that you're not just a paycheck to them. You're actually invested in them.
Exactly. Exactly. And that goes a long way, man.
Yeah.
It even goes a long way with you as an adult. Like when you have somebody that you know you could receive that text. Like I'm very grateful to you, to Joe Fawcett, to Mike Nelson. Every time I'm going through a rough moment, man, they're like they're there for you. They're there for you, and that goes a long way. And I'm like, man, if this helps me as an adult, oh boy, the difference that it makes to a teenager. Because teenager years are tough, man. Like being a teenager is not easy. No. You think you know everything, but you actually don't know nothing.
Anything.
But because you don't know anything, thinking that you do, you make all these, you know, bad decisions, or not even bad decisions. Like somebody says something and then you take it, you blow it out of proportion, and you make a big deal out of everything because you don't have the tools to like, well, that's not important.
You can't figure it out. We actually, I don't know if you know the guy, Simon Sinek, he's a leadership guru. And we're reading this book with the 9th graders. And when I kind of put it in perspective, they're all like, yeah, I think I get it now. Like, because teenage years is like, you're coming, why are there conflicts with parents? Well, the conflict with parents because you're sort of acculturating yourself into this new tribe, right? These have been your tribe. Like that's been your tribe. Your family's your tribe. And you know what? Like, you know, the mama bear, the papa bear, like they have their tribe, right? But all of a sudden you're like leaving the tribe because you're going into this other tribe as you sort of find your independence and stuff. So it creates the conflict, right? And like when you guys recognize that that's where the conflict is coming from, then you can handle it a little differently because now you can see their perspective. Like they're losing something. It's not that they're trying to control you, but they're losing you, right? And that's what they see, right? So, and you, on the other hand, you're trying to figure out how to fit in places that you're new, right? Which creates a whole lot of stress, you know?
Yeah, man.
But you're all going through it together. So be kind to each other. You know?
Right. And I think this generation is doing a very good job with that. At least that's what I see in our school.
I agree.
Like our kids, you know, they're very great. It might be the social media aspect of it that you do feel more connected. Because you are in a way. You know, it has a lot of negative things to it. Obviously, but it's only negative to our perspective because we got to live a different side of it, right? Like, but if you cannot miss what you don't know, you know what I mean? Like if you're a teenager and you were born into this new era, you cannot miss the old era because you don't know
anything about it.
So in a way, this is what they know. This is how you connect with people. All right, this is how we connect with people. Oh, if I hit like to your post, that means we're no, man, I like you, boom, and you like. When our way of showing affection was different. So when we lost that little like on a post doesn't really cut it for us. Right? Like it kind of feels like empty. Like what do you mean? I want where's my hug? Like you like my post? Well, give me a hug. Because we got to experience a different way of showing that appreciation. So I don't really see social media as such of a bad thing in that sense, obviously. Too much access to too much negative information, it is bad. Because that's not normal. They get to see all the bad that's happening out. And then...
And the problem is that everything is like 15 seconds. So they're constantly context switching. So what happens is they don't, they're not building the fortitude to deal with something that's deep. Right. That's what we see in the classroom. Right.
Yeah, that's true. And because you know, a problem without technology, it expanded. Like if you were in bad terms with somebody, right, there was no way to go around it. You either fixed it or there's no communication. Social media, it kind of lingers a little longer. Right. But if you're constantly like, I have no time to feel bad for you because I got 100 other things to feel bad for now. I just forgot that you were having a bad moment. I just got hit with 100 more moments. So that's right. You do lose connection. And without social media, if I hear that you're going through something and a month goes by and that's the only bad thing that I heard, I'm still thinking about you. Like, man, how is Cyr doing? Like, let me help him out. I hope he's doing better. Because I haven't been hit with any new.
But you're constantly being bombarded with.
But today, yeah, trying, man. So connecting it becomes a little harder, right? It's weird, man. There's weird times that we're living in. Yeah. But I'll take this over the Vikings. People forget Vikings were vicious. They're like, I wish I lived back in the good old days. Oh, wait, which ones are we talking about, right? Like, you go too far back. I don't think you're going to like that very much. Like, I'm social media memes, I'll take those over a freaking random boat just pulling out.
Pulling up, exactly.
Just now we're taking over.
Which was the old days, right?
Those were the old days. Yeah. So I'll take these days anytime, man. Moving into coaching, we jump back and forth. You're about to start baseball season with the high school team. Does it feel weird that you're about to retire? So is this going to be your last season?
So, you know? I mean,
do you even want to say it?
Yeah, no. I've talked to Mike. I told him if he gets stuck, I'll do another year. But the hope is to try to find someone. And I told him if that coach wants me to hang around as an assistant, I'm happy. I love teaching the game. Yeah. When you're a head coach, especially there, you're dealing with trying to get kids from programs that have become 4-season programs, and it's just hard. And then you run into Merrimack College with the field, and it's just like it's a whole lot of nonsense as a head coach you got to deal with to try to move all the pieces around. I just enjoy teaching the game. Yeah. And when you're a head coach, I think you've seen it, right? Yeah. When you're a head coach, you got to worry about, first of all, winning becomes more important, right? And second of all, it's just you're dealing with all of this other nonsense that takes your vision off the field. Yeah. So for me, which is why, when I joined soccer, which I am learning more about, but I told you right at the beginning, I'm not a soccer guy, but I'm going to help you take all the stuff that you don't want to do so you can do the soccer stuff because I understand that part. So I would love to stick on as, I would even probably come back and assist because I just love teaching the game. That's always been the fun part.
Is there a different feeling towards approaching this season, knowing that it could be your last one?
In a way, I kind of feel we had a really good freshman class come in. And I really love those kids. Here's the problem, right? It's like, when do you leave? Right? Because every class that comes in, you build relationships, right? And now you don't want to leave those relationships, And it's like, well, I really want to see this class through. But then there'll be the next class that comes in.
I'll graduate these guys, and then I'll be gone. And then
I'll be honest, if I could take vacation when I want, I'd probably teach for another 10 years. But I'll be 65 and I want to be able to travel. Yeah. I have Disney points and stuff, and it just becomes
you got to
harder.
use them, buddy. Use them.
So I want to be able to do things when it doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
That's right, the way we're going.
So, am I approaching it differently? Not really, but yes, right? There's the emotional aspect, because I don't really have that many seniors this year. There's only 1 or 2.
Oh, wow. So if in the case you leave, you're not really graduating a big class.
Right. Yeah. So, Anderson.
That might make it easier, though.
Not really, because, I've seen Anderson Garcia really grow as a pitcher. I'd love to see where he finishes, because I think he's going to be something special.
That's right. That's right.
So you see these kids that you've kind of helped mold and improve, and it's like, okay, where are they going to end up? So it's a little hard.
Okay. And then to wrap it up, have you seen a difference between the baseball level over the years? Because Lawrence is a it has a strong Dominican community, right? But you seem to be struggling to get baseball players with actual experience by the time they get to high school. Yeah. What do you think is happening? So, is the sport changing in general, or?
So one is the sport's changing. AAU is taken over. A lot of the youth leagues have fallen apart. I used to run Methuen Youth Baseball, and we'd have hundreds and hundreds of kids. Now it's probably a few teams here and there. Lawrence had 5 leagues, maybe even 6. I think they're down to 2. So it just, in general, a lot of the in-town programs where kids could play for pretty cheap, right, are gone. And so that leaves them with going to AAU, which is expensive. So if they don't have the money, where are they going to go? So we have a lot of kids that play up till the 9-10, and so now there's a gap year, right? So we're getting a lot of kids that have these gaps. Last year was the first year that we had kids come into the school that actually had played at AAU level. I mean, I had 4 freshmen starting at the varsity level last year. That's the first time we've had kids come in with AAU experience. So we're in the upper division, right? Yeah. So we're going against Lowell Catholic, you're at Lowell, Whittier, Shawsheen, and they're all, I mean, Shawsheen's freshman pitchers, pitch AAU. Our varsity pitchers don't. So it's a little tough. The way I tell the kids, look, we look at progression. We'll see umpires at the beginning of the season, and we'll see those umpires at the end of the season. And what they'll tell us is, oh my God, these kids have come a long way.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. Yeah. The problem is that they won't start playing again for another 9 months, right? So now you start all over again because they just don't have the places to go,
Yeah, man, that accessibility, right? Like you have to make sports a little more accessible. Yeah. But the business side of it is so lucrative.
It's taken over.
Yeah, and the same problem has been happening with soccer. Like it's so lucrative. These academies are just making so much money out of them. Yeah, it's impossible, not impossible, but it's very difficult for them to let go and be like, no, let's be more about the people now.
Right. But what happens, right, is that now you have these good soccer players, and now they're being pushed to like maybe the Central Catholics because you're going to be really good, right? Because now you've paid this money, so now you, as a parent, you think I paid this money, so my kid's going to play it at a high level,
right? At a high level, yeah.
And there's so many programs now that just because you have the money doesn't mean they're necessarily good.
Good,
right?
yeah.
Anyone will take their money to get them on a team. But as a parent, you're paying the money. You're thinking my kid's going to make it at Central Catholic. My kid's going to make it at Lowell Catholic.
You don't really make the connection between the actual skill level of your kid and how much money you have invested in it.
Right.
And because sometimes it's you paid a lot.
Yeah.
But this is what you got as a skill level. Yeah. Wow.
And as a coach, I mean, when I was in Methuen freshman, we'd see it a lot at the freshman level. Parents would come in and say, "How did you cut my kid?" Because honestly, like these 3 were better. But he plays AAU. I'm like, well, how much did you pay? $2,500. I said, well,
that's right.
So these 3 come from poorer families. It doesn't mean they're not as good as your kid or better than your kid. Yeah. Just you have the money and they don't. And they don't handle that well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could see that, man. I could see that. Yeah. That's a tough sale right there.
Yeah.
I put in so much money. This is what you paid for, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Zlatan Ibrahimovic said it. He's a big soccer player. Came to the MLS, left, and he has money, man. Yeah. And he said soccer in the US for kids is too expensive.
Yeah.
When you have a rich guy saying that, that should send a message, right? Like, let's fix this around, man.
But now think about it, right? So soccer is pretty much, you need cleats and a bat and a ball, right? Now baseball, the gloves cost money, the balls cost money, the bats are out of this world. So
this is why, man, why third world countries play so much soccer?
Yeah.
1 ball, 22 kids.
Well, that's what happens.
It doesn't get any cheaper than that.
And that's why basketball is coming up in inner cities now, right? Because kids meet at a court, they need 1 ball, 10, 15 kids, right?
Exactly. And why are we making it so expensive here in the US when it is not an expensive sport, right? It should not be looked at like, oh, that's the poor people's sport. It's very easy to play it.
Exactly. You got a field and a ball. A couple nets, you're done.
That's it. Put 2 rocks here, 2 rocks over there. Yeah. If it goes between the rocks, it's a goal. That's it.
Yeah.
That's soccer simplified. Mm-hmm. It should not be expensive, man. But money, man. Money. What can we do without it, man? Listen, anything you want to say to wrap it up? First of all, I am very happy that you came. Hopefully, this is not going to be the last time. I got to get you here more often. With warmer weather, because as I said, it is chilly here. I'm freezing my butt off right now, man. You have no idea. But the weather's warming up. Every time I'm in a happier and happier mood. Yeah. Anything you want to finish up to wrap it up?
I want to leave you with an analogy I've used in school. Actually, I used it at my mother-in-law's wake. And because you mentioned it, it's sort of like how we have impact on people. Yeah. So we reading this book, The Alchemist, and my favorite analogy for life is, how you walk on the beach at low tide, and you can look back and see your footprints.
Yes.
So the analogy I use with the kids is like, this is life, right? Every day we leave an imprint. And I talk to the kids in the Interact Club, the community service group. Mm-hmm. Every day we leave an imprint. We have no idea if that imprint, what marks we left behind. A kind word, a hello, right? Can make somebody's day, and you will never know it.
Yeah.
Because you've moved on to the next day.
Yeah.
But you left an imprint on somebody. You leave marks, right?
Yeah.
You don't even know it, but you do. And when we walk along the beach, every day is an imprint in life. When we're done and we look back at our life and we look back at all of our imprints, all we can hope for is that we've had more positive imprints than negative. Because we're human, we're going to screw up. We're going to say the stupid thing that lets somebody down. Mm-hmm. But the little bit that it takes to say, hey, are you okay? You know, can I do anything for you? Hold the door, right? Hey, let me put that in the trunk for you. I see you struggling with it. The little things that we can do can make such a huge impact on people. And we won't really know what it means to them. We don't need to know, right?
Yeah.
But you've made a difference. And we choose that every time we step out of a room, you know?
I like that, man. So, and it's very true, man. I relate with it. Yeah. And I'm trying to live my life that way, man. I'm trying to make life better for anybody who comes in contact with me as much as I can. Yeah. And I apologize for the days that I'm not doing too well on that because we are humans, like you said. Yeah. But
I haven't seen you have too many of those days, though.
Yeah, I try to keep
positive. You know,
I try to. I really try to. Man. I make it an effort.
Yeah.
Like, because it's all we can do, man.
That's
and
it.
Life becomes just a little bit better.
Yeah.
If you just put on a positive attitude towards it.
You feel better, and you make someone else feel better.
Yeah, that's right, man.
We can always choose to be miserable, but why? You know,
why?
Just let it go.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
Cyr, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me. It was fun.
I appreciate it. If you made it this far, please leave a comment. If there's anything we said that you might take with you, let us know. And then don't forget to subscribe. And I have to see you next time. There's got to be a second time.
There's more.
There you go. See you guys.